Obviously, you're heading into these games, Helen, in a completely different frame of mind and set up to the ones that have gone before. You've got 3 kids under the age of 5. So there's a lot to juggle here. But do they give you, and has family life given you a perspective that you haven't had before as an Olympian?
It has totally changed my perspective in a way that I never would have believed when I was in my 20s. And I thought that sport and results and winning was everything and was going to define my whole life happiness. Now if I have a bad day at training, I walk in the door and my day is made good by the kids having a good day at school, or, something like this, where I really think that I put it all to the side, and the rowing seems so small in comparison to a spelling test or something that the kids have done. And it does totally change how I feel about results.
And has it changed your approach to training as well? Because you know that you're not going to get the perfect day's training in every single day of the week with 3 children in tow. I mean, there can be a number of things that can go wrong, which mean that that's not going to happen. So has that sort of adapted your training regime? And how have your coaches had to sort of work with you on that to make sure you get the best out of each day?
Do you know what? Weirdly, even though I say I'm less driven by results, at training, I would say I'm far more intent and intense than I ever have been. And I think that's because I'm compartmentalizing my day. I don't have 24 hours to be the best rower I can be. I have the few hours that I have at the training center. And if I'm leaving my kids to go and do those few hours, trust me, I'm going to do the best job I can. And so I think actually it's made the quality of my training better. And the coaches have been great with their flexibility in terms of, on my third session of the day, it's a land session. It's usually lifting weights. So they give me the trust and the faith that I can do that at home. And so if we've got a bike session, a weight session, or a rowing machine, I can do that at home. And then I can fit that around the kids' schedules, or, I can do it after they've gone to bed or something like that. So they've been flexible. And I just think I've been much more focused and at it when I'm there.
We also sort of laugh and joke a little bit about the fact that the kids don't really care what you're doing from one day to the next and probably don't understand most of it. But how important is it, do you think, for you and for them to come on this journey with you and for you to sort of include them as part of the whole thing?
Yeah, I think carrying on, the decision to go to Paris was largely based on the kids and them being part of this journey, physically there, and present and seeing it. And I wonder if when they're a bit older, most of the learnings will be kind of retrospective. They'll look back on that time and realize that they were there for it. Because at the moment they're just like, why is mummy on the rowing machine again? What's he doing? Like, why would he do all that? Yeah. Yeah. So I think that at the moment it's just normal for them. It's what they've grown up with. But I think I imagine there will be a point where they look back and think that's really cool that we're not just talking about what mummy did before we came along. London and Rio was before them. And actually, this makes it a continuation into their lives. And I really hope that means something.
I also think you've been a major trailblazer for women in sport, because there must be so many women out there who definitely get told, oh, you're retiring now because you've gone and had kids and, it won't happen for you again. I mean, how important was it for you to sort of make that statement, not just for yourself, but for other women, to keep going and not let yourself be defined by whether you were a mum or not?
I honestly think one of the biggest wins of my career was when I came back for Tokyo, and the amount of messages I got from mums and from parents saying, this has given me the boost to go back to netball, to running, to whatever it is. Honestly, I feel like I well up every time I read these messages, because I didn't expect to have this response. And I was kind of going back with this kind of small bubble, and this bubble suddenly massively grew to this parenting bubble of people who are behind me and people who have been affected by my journey. And I just think I'm so grateful to have that as part of the journey.
You come a hell of a long way. Can you imagine sort of now swooping up around you all these young Olympians that are on Team GB who'll be looking to you for words of wisdom and advice? And I know you don't always want to be seen as that, but it must be really nice to have that role as well in that scenario.
Yeah, it's a real privilege. And like sometimes I don't feel that wise, but I do think that actually I look back on the journey, and there are lessons, and there are things that I wondered and I wanted to know when I first came on. And it's a real privilege that I can be the one that kind of may say something that just helps someone enjoy it a bit more, or helps someone get the most out of their performance. And I remember the people that gave me those nuggets when I first came into Team GB, and it is really great that I could be that somebody else.
Final question. What's the biggest learner that you'd pass on as a piece of advice to any young up and coming athletes that want to sort of emulate your success?
Oh, the biggest learner. I think sport really is about the people that you surround yourself with. And I've been really, really lucky that most of the people I've surrounded myself with have been the most amazing people, my teammates. And I've honestly had the most inspiring women in my life have been my teammates. And I'm just so privileged to say that. But then also there are some people that you can't help in sport but surround yourself with, the naysayers and the people who don't believe in you. And that's almost as important as the people that support you, because if someone says you can't do it, just go out and prove them wrong.
That's brilliant, isn't it? That's a really good piece of advice for absolutely everybody out there. Because like you say, you are surrounded in daily life by drains and radiators. And in a weird way, they're as important as each other because it brings out the best in you either way. Brilliant. Helen, thank you so much. Best of luck, thinking of you, hoping that you get everything that you want.
Thank you so much.